In the glittering heart of London, where royal pageantry is as much a part of the city's fabric as its historic architecture, a tale of jealousy has unfurled. Meghan Markle, once celebrated for her grace and charm, is now whispered in hushed, scandalized tones as the embodiment of envy, particularly over the lavish celebrations surrounding the Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton. This narrative has not been spun from thin air but is backed by a series of actions, statements, and public appearances that paint a picture of a duchess consumed by bitterness over the spotlight that seems to dance more brightly around her sister-in-law. Meghan's discontent has been palpable, with her actions often speaking louder than words. Royal insiders have noted that Meghan's competitive spirit was evident from the early days of her royal engagement. Her desire to not just participate but to outshine in the royal arena has been a constant. One cannot help but recall the stark contrast in public reception when Meghan visited London for a supposed celebration, only to find herself overshadowed by the grandeur of an event honoring Kate. The contrast was not just in the scale but in the public's adoration, which seemed to pour out for Kate in a way that Meghan has found elusive since stepping back from royal duties. The roots of this jealousy are multifaceted. Meghan, with her Hollywood background, was no stranger to the limelight, but the royal stage was different. Here, she was not just competing with celebrities, but with centuries of tradition and the public's deep-seated affection for the British monarchy. When Kate Middleton, now the Princess of Wales, shone brightly at her various engagements, Meghan's response was telling. Reports from the royal circle suggest that Meghan felt an acute sense of rivalry, not just for the affection of the public but for the narrative of her own royal journey. This tension was particularly evident during the famous Commonwealth Day service in 2020, one of Meghan and Harry's last public appearances as senior royals. The event, meant to be a celebration of unity, instead highlighted the stark differences between the two duchesses. Kate, in her regal poise, was the picture of royal duty, while Meghan's body language was read by observers as strained, perhaps even resentful. Social media commentators and royal analysts alike noted Meghan's apparent discomfort, which was interpreted by many as jealousy over Kate's effortless command of royal protocol and public affection. Moreover, Meghan's departure from royal life has not quelled the whispers of envy. Her ventures into media and philanthropy, while commendable, have often been framed in the context of her royal past. The Netflix documentary series Harry and Meghan was seen by some as an attempt to reclaim narrative control, showcasing their life in a way that might suggest Meghan's royal tenure was more challenging than it was. Critics argued it was a thinly veiled swipe at Kate's seemingly unblemished public image, especially when Meghan spoke of the hardships faced within the royal family, contrasting with Kate's public narrative of duty and grace. The celebration in London, a grand affair celebrating Kate's achievements within the royal family and her charitable work, was a particular point of contention. Meghan, who had once hoped for similar public acclaim, found herself on the sidelines, her projects and public appearances in America not receiving the same level of royal fanfare. This disparity was highlighted by social media, where comparisons were inevitable, with commentators often pointing out Meghan's apparent frustration, possibly over the lack of similar recognition for her own humanitarian efforts. Further fueling this narrative was Meghan's choice of attire during her post-royal appearances, often seen as an attempt to outdo Kate's iconic fashion moments. Fashion critics have dissected how Meghan's wardrobe choices since leaving the royal fold have sometimes echoed Kate's, but with a twist that seems aimed at capturing the public's eye in a different, perhaps more dramatic, way. This has been interpreted not just as fashion rivalry but as a deeper, more personal competition for public adoration. The fallout from this perceived jealousy has not been without consequence. It has strained familial relations, with reports suggesting that the once close bond between Meghan and Harry and William and Kate has cooled significantly. The public's perception of Meghan has also shifted, with some feeling her actions reflect a less than magnanimous spirit, particularly when juxtaposed against Kate's public stoicism and dedication to her role. In conclusion, while Meghan Markle's journey into the royal family began with much fanfare and promise, it has evolved into a narrative tinged with envy. Her reactions to Kate's celebrations in London, her media projects, and even her sartorial choices paint a picture of a woman struggling with the shadow cast by her sister-in-law's seemingly effortless grace within the royal sphere. Whether this is the true state of Meghan's heart or a misinterpretation of her actions remains a subject of debate, but the public discourse has certainly been colored by these perceptions. The royal saga continues, with each chapter adding more layers to the complex tapestry of jealousy, duty, and public expectation.